Hello and welcome to Mr. Timeline, the show where we go over movies, movie reviews, TV series, and fan castings. I'm your host, Joseph, who, if you know me, you probably know me from my other videos on here, banking on it. This is my fun video series. Today we're going to be talking about Justice League, namely the Snyder Cut that just released a few days ago. A few things about the film. The original film was full of inconsistencies and story flaws that didn't make much sense. With the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder, who came back and fixed the film, granted it's a 4-hour fix and the movie is amazing, by the way, check it out on HBO Max. It is a fantastic film. Let's see. Namely, the characters get more screen time, you get more character development. You get introduced a lot more characters, namely Martian Manhunter, Darkseid, Desaad, Granny Goodness. If you've never read a comic book before, you probably don't know who those characters are, but they're the biggest bads in the DC comic book universe. The Steppenwolf motivations are much more clear in this film. Steppenwolf looks a lot better. He doesn't look like a rush job like somebody did on a computer in a overnight. Let's see what else. Well, let's talk about story. All right, so with the death of Superman, 4 ancient items awaken, summoning Steppenwolf, a minion of the Dark Despot, Darkseid. As he proceeds to try to collect all of these, the other heroes have to band together to fight him. Now, the film itself is just an amazing film. It really is. I can't say that enough. And by the way, a quick nod to the fact that Zack Snyder left the original Justice League project because of the death of his daughter. So I just want to say to Zack Snyder, if he ever sees this video, I pray for you. I hope you're doing okay. With that being said, there is a nice little memorial to her at the end of the film. But the movie itself is a master class in storytelling. Characters get a lot more breathing room. The film doesn't exist to get from plot point A to plot point B to plot point C. You actually get to see these characters in their element. There's a great exchange between Martha and Lois. It's really, really good. There's also some really good additional Diana scenes that are fantastic. The flashback looks really good. Like, they did a fantastic job redoing the flashback sequence where you actually see the first attack on Earth, where the Atlanteans, the Amazons, the humans all work together. And my light just went out. Go figure. So you got all these elements playing into the story. And what it does is it creates a really good narrative flow. And what I mean by that is the story pulls really quite well. Going from point A to plot point B, you get some really good context to what's going on in the scene. Like, there's a fantastic moment where the characters are trying to figure out Steppenwolf's next move. And when they're doing that, they actually get some really good character development. And gone is the humor that didn't work. Gone is some of the jokes, because they were added by Joss Whedon when he took over. the original project. Um, Gone is that one really awkward scene where Aquaman is under the power of the lasso. The lasso of the rope of Hestia. That is one of the. Now, that granted, I kind of missed that scene. That scene was one of my personal favorites of the original Justice League because I thought it was a great moment, and Jason Momoa has a lot of fun with it. But really, the shineout roles in the film are Jason Momoa's Aquaman and Cyborg, played by Ray Fisher, and Ezra Miller's Flash. These three new characters into the story just really are quite good. Aquaman is very much that reluctant character as he was in the original film. He's very much a reluctant character. And I think it really works in this one better because you get some more context. Like Volko from Aquaman is in the film. Now, granted, he looks a little bit different than his design in Aquaman. James Wan's film should have been some inspiration when Zack Snyder made this to go back and go, okay, we're going to refilm William Dafoe scenes. But then again, this was some of the stuff they already had filmed that got cut by Joss Whedon. So there's that. Also, something I want to address. Well, Amber Heard was really good in the film. I'm going to point out that the rumors I've heard and everything else going on, I think they need to recast the character. Not to say Amber Heard's a terrible actress. She's actually pretty good. But her actions, as of late, in the last couple of years, I would warrant probably going and getting rid of her. Just because you don't need controversy in your production. You don't need that. It's going to blow up in your face, and we're going to be left with a smoking crater afterwards, in terms of Hollywood careers. Alright, so there's that. Ezra Miller is lovable as the Flash. He really has that quick wit that you want in the Flash. Now, granted, I've watched the TV series with Grant Gustin, which I absolutely adore. I love the Arrowverse. They are one of the best interpretations of DC lore that I've ever watched. That being said, I actually love this film's interpretation of Flash, because it gives them a lot more depth, a lot more to work with the character. Granted, it's not as good as Grant Gustin's, due to the fact that Grant Gustin has really built his character over the last several years playing the character. So he really knows the character inside and out. Ezra Miller played the character maybe a total of twice. He played him in the flashback on Suicide Squad, which was one of the best parts of that movie. And we will do a review on Suicide Squad at a later point. But there's that. And then on top of that, the film itself just gives him a lot to work with. So Zack Snyder really knows how to write The Flash. How to direct The Flash. Alright, so another element is, of course, Cyborg. Now, Cyborg in the original film felt like he was kind of an afterthought. Like, they're like, yeah, we got Cyborg, but we don't know what to do with them. You do all these scenes, but those aren't important to us. Let's just get to point C. What ends up happening when you do that, though, you really miss out on a dynamic character. And it was a very dynamic character when Ray Fisher played the role. Absolutely killed it. Absolutely dominated it. It was amazing. And you could believe a believable interpretation of the character. And on top of that, with all the background stories about how tough the production was under Joss Whedon, I feel for Ray Fisher, I do. I hope he decides to work things out with Warner Brothers and comes back to play Cyborg again. Because he killed it. He was fantastic. He was very believable as Cyborg. I was a little disappointed they didn't do his catchphrase from the comics, the booyah. But other than that, it was a fantastic film. The villain's motivations were much more clear and defined. Steppenwolf, really, you could tell he was a general because he's saying, "Go, do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this," and it's just absolutely amazing how they do it. Because in the comic books, Steppenwolf is one of Darkseid's top lieutenants. He is. You got Granny Goodness, Desaad, and Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf, though, is also a very, I'm going to go for it, and if it blows up in my face, that's fine. And you could see kind of that a little bit because he has a rage problem. He gets mad so easily when things don't go his way and starts killing things. And you get to see that. What I really enjoyed about the film's interpretation of Steppenwolf is the fact that, for one, the armor he was wearing made more sense. It looked better. It looked more similar to the mother box scene from BVS. So, what I'm trying to say is that it is a fantastic interpretation of a villain, especially a villain that you're using to set up an even bigger villain later on down the road. And Darkseid is really well done. I don't know much about the actor who played Darkseid, who did the voice work, but the way they designed him looked really good. There's also a really good dream sequence where you actually get to see Darkseid using the Omega beams, which I jumped at because I'm a huge comic book fan. I'm like, oh my god, he's using the Omega beams. It's a quite fantastic film, and it makes a lot more sense once you add the extra scenes in. Alright, so, another element I really enjoyed about this film is how seriously it took itself. It decided not to be the MCU, which has a lot more fun. They wanted to be more of a character study universe, and you could tell that. But they did a great job with it. That being said, there are some flaws with the film. Like I said, there's not enough humor sprinkled in. I mean, there is, but it's lacking compared to the Whedon version. Now, if they could take some of the jokes from the Whedon version and find a way to incorporate them into the new one, I personally think it would have worked. Like, some of the jokes were really, really good. Like I said, the Aquaman moment was one of my favorites from the original film. So, I'd say go and, keep that, They could have gotten some more Darkseid related stuff going on, too. Maybe even, not him talking directly to Desaad first, but maybe one of the lower lieutenants, like Yanto, or one of them. I really hope I said that name right. It's a character I can never remember his name correctly, how to say it, so bear with me. Also, the film is a bit long. I mean, it is 4 hours. There's certain things that I personally could see where he planned to be two distinctive films. Because, for instance, they could have used the majority of the story of the first film to set up a second film. But they added a bunch of extra stuff because, again, it looks like they're trying to incorporate as much as what Zack Snyder originally wanted to do in the films. But he didn't get to see his vision of the 3 films. Because he had 3 films in mind. But other than that, it was a good film. Is it by far a perfect movie? No. But it's damn near close. With that being said, though, it is a fantastic film. I highly recommend people get HBO Max just to see it. Even if you just do the trial. I believe it's a 1-month trial. 1 week or 1 month. If you don't do anything else, at least do the trial so that way you can watch that and enjoy it. Especially if you're a comic book fan. And considering that Warner Brothers owns DC Comics, HBO Max does have the entire animated show library that DC did back in the day. Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock, Batman, the animated series, Batman Beyond. I don't know if they got Superman yet, but that might be one of those that they're trying to line up to get back. That being said, though, it is a fantastic platform. I do recommend it. Have fun with the film, though. It is a fantastic film. I definitely recommend it. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Would have given it a 5th star, but it is a bit long, and it needs a little more humor in it. But that being said, this has been Joseph with Mr. Timeline. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.